Welcome to the From Burnout to Recovery show with your host, Dr. Kate. This is where your journey to burnout recovery starts. Are you feeling overwhelmed or like work has become unmanageable? Join me and my guests for open and honest conversations about burnout recovery from the comfort of the front porch. I am here to help you build your resilience and prepare you for burnout in a whole new way through a variety of perspectives. Move past the idea that burnout can only be addressed by avoidance and work to integrate recovery into your daily life. Relax, take a breath. The From Burnout to Recovery show starts now. Hello, everyone. I am so beyond excited to meet you today and introduce myself to you today. And as we premiere the show and get started on our journey together as we continue to go through this recovery process from burnout, supporting one another and learning from one another. I'm Dr. Kate. I have been in the space of burnout recovery and research for over 15 years, and I am so excited to be able to bring that knowledge to you all as we continue on in this podcast and show journey. In future shows, I will be bringing on guests who will share their own burnout stories and their journey to recovery. But for today, I wanted to take some time to let you know who I am and how I got to this space and why I'm here with you today. So let's start with my story. I got into this because I had my own real big burnout. And this was about 8 years ago. And I was in a space where I was overwhelmed and burdened by my job. I was emotionally drained from my doctoral program, and I was in a really unhealthy relationship. And all of these things combined really made life hard for me. And I became, looking back on it now, what I refer to the worst version of myself. I was a person who was angry and reactive, and I didn't really want to be around myself, much less, having others want to be around me, because they never knew what they might say that would cause an angry outburst from me, or tears, or some other reaction that I didn't even know was expecting. I don't know how many of you may have felt that way, either now or in the past, where you just didn't like yourself in that moment. And you weren't really sure why or what got you to that space, but you knew that somehow you had lost yourself. Somehow you had almost come up missing that past version of yourself. And for me, I was missing the part of Kate that was playful and joyful and fun, and it had a great sense of humor and loved talking to people. And instead, I felt sluggish and hurt and angry most of the time. And I didn't have a name for it. I knew I didn't feel good. I knew that I really struggled to get up in the morning, to get moving. Things felt super unmanageable. It was impacting me physically. I was having headaches. I felt like I couldn't find the words when I needed to think or speak or communicate with people. Tears always seemed to be just there behind the eyes. And I found it a lot harder to smile. And when I did smile, my smile didn't come all the way up to my eyes. And I remember a moment in having a conversation with my mom and complaining about all the things that weren't going right in my life and saying something to the effect of, when will this change? Will I ever just be happy? And watching the heartbreak in her face and knowing how badly she desired to want to fix it for me, knowing that she couldn't, that the change and the fixing had to come from me, or at least it had to start with me. And that was a bit of a breaking point for me, recognizing how much the people who loved me were hurting for me. So I started to figure out what was going on and started my journey on recovery. I still didn't call it burnout. That took a little more time, but I found a counselor. I left the unhealthy relationship. I leaned into my research for my dissertation and my PhD program in a different way, and I took a step back from some things that were overwhelming to me. As I continued to work with my counselor, I was able to name the space that I was in, and that was burnout. I took that interest and what I learned in my own recovery and researched that for my PhD program. And my dissertation resulted in a great model that is a self-reflective process that helps us observe, prepare, and recover from burnout in a different way so that we can create sustainability and wellness in our lives. Part of the show, we'll be talking about pieces of that as we learn new and different ways of recovery from the guests that we have on here. But there are a couple of key concepts that I want to introduce you all to. The first is what I call feeling crispy. Now, feeling crispy is what I was trying to do when I was in that burned out space. And that was to put on a persona that everything was okay, that I was doing just fine. Think of it what we do with kind of the highlight reel of our social media, right? We want to put forward the perspective and let others think about us that we're doing okay, that we're not having any problems, that we are able to manage all of the stresses in our life and do it well. But just under the surface of that persona, of that mask, are the feelings of emotional drain, the feelings of fatigue, the feelings of overwhelm. And if someone were to cut just under your skin, you would almost explode open in a puff of steam. And that's feeling crispy. And a lot of us do that when we are trying to just get through, trying to manage our stressors in our life. And it especially comes up when we think that we don't have time and space for recovery in our lives. So we have to create that time and space. But those daily stressors, those tough times, have a name too. And those are called burn events. Burn events are circumstances, activities, difficult humans, meetings, things that we have to go through either during our day, during the week, that stress us out a little bit, that bring us the feeling of fatigue, that have us feeling emotionally drained, that have us feeling overwhelmed. And when we experience these burn events, sometimes we can actually look at our calendar and know when they are coming. So we can expect them. And these expected burn events, we can control in a different way. We can prepare for them differently. so that we go into a burn event as our healthiest self, and we can plan recovery for them. So when we know that we're going to have a meeting with a difficult human, we can make sure that we are giving ourselves some time after that meeting to recover. And that recovery might look like a dance party in your office, a deep breathing session, a body scan, or maybe just a walk in nature. So we want to look at them in a different way. And then how do we prepare for them? First, by identifying that they're going to come up. And the funny thing about burnout is that we all experiencing this as humans. Lots of people make it out as though it's something that we can completely prevent and completely avoid. And while I think that we can become more resilient to it, these experiences, these burn events are still going to happen in our lives. So by embracing them and preparing for them and recovering from them, we build up our resiliency to them so that we're stronger through them. But we don't necessarily avoid them. We just approach them in a different way. And the reason we want to do that is because on the spectrum of burnout, we have our burn events, which are these smaller scale pieces that do cause us to feel overwhelmed at times. But if we continue to recover from them from moment to moment, we're able to ward off some of the bigger feelings of burnout. If we don't implement intentional recovery, either in our day-to-day process or throughout our week, these burn events can compound upon each other. They can create a snowball effect and lead us into full-on burnout. And this full-on burnout is really distinguished by a couple of key factors. The first is feeling as though things are completely unmanageable. So waking up in the morning with the sense of not really knowing where to start because it feels so unmanageable. The second is feeling as though things are a burden. So maybe it's your job. And when you think about going in to work in the morning, whether that's now back in an office or across the hall in your home office, you feel burdened by it. It's almost as though you have to slug through mud or water to get through that space, to start the day. It just feels extra difficult. And the third key indicator is that this thing that used to bring you joy, that you used to feel very passionate about and connected to, doesn't do that for you anymore. You no longer gain that sense of joy, that sense of passion that used to contribute to your life when you showed up for work each and every day. And when you start to experience these feelings more days of the week than not, then you're probably in a state of burnout. What can be hard about recognizing that is that in our world of productivity and busyness, we can continue through burnout for a pretty long time before it really starts to impact us. And some ways that burnout can impact us and shows up as other symptoms in our body, in our minds, is with headaches, insomnia, so that trouble sleeping, foggy headedness, that piece that I talked about that I experienced of not being able to find the words, of confusion, are some ways that burnout can show up in our bodies as we continue through. So if you're feeling that, if you're hearing this message today, it's because you need to. And I'm excited to have you join me on this journey as we work through your recovery and I continue in my recovery, and we do that together. My wish is to continue to provide resources for you to do just that. One of the things that we will be doing for each and every show is a recovery moment. And today, I want to introduce one of my favorite things. So we'll either be doing an affirmation, a meditation of sorts, a body scan, a breathing exercise. And I want you to take these few minutes as we introduce this process and this recovery moment to really give yourself some space to just be, to find some comfort, to find some calm. And if nothing else, you get a few minutes to just relax. So let's get started. I want you to begin by bringing your attention into your body. You can close your eyes if that's comfortable and safe for you right now. You can notice your body seated wherever you're seated, feeling the weight of your body on the chair, your feet on the floor. Take a few deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose and out through your mouth. One more in through your nose and out through your mouth. And as you take a deep breath, bring in more oxygen, enlivening the body. And as you exhale, have a sense of relaxing more deeply. Take a breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. You can notice your feet on the floor. Notice the sensations of your feet touching the floor, the weight, the pressure, any vibration or heat. You can notice your legs against the chair, any pressure, pulsing, heaviness, or lightness. Take a breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Notice your back against the chair. Bring your attention to your stomach area. If your stomach is tense or tight, let it soften. Take a breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Notice your hands. Are your hands tense or tight? See if you can allow them to soften. Take a breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Notice your arms. Feel any sensation in your arms. Let your shoulders be soft. Let them fall and relax down your back and away from your ears. Take a breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Notice your neck and throat. Let them be soft. Relax. Take a breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Soften your jaw. Pull your tongue away from the roof of your mouth. Let your face and those muscles in your face be soft. Relax. Take a breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Notice your whole body present. Take a breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Be aware of your whole body as best as you can. Take a breath, and when you're ready, you can open your eyes. I hope that that moment and that body scan was helpful for you. It's something that you can come back to and listen to again whenever you need it, whenever you need that moment or that space to find some relaxation, to catch your breath, to stop those stressors and find a moment of recovery. I am so looking forward to continuing this journey with you. And I can't wait to see where we go together as we bring our recovery or burnout along for the ride as we continue to sit on the front porch with one another. Thank you so much for joining me today and allowing me the opportunity to tell you a little bit about who I am and what I can bring to you. I hope that you will continue to join me on this journey as we discover new and different recovery methods with the guests that will be joining us. I am so excited to be here with you. Thank you for a wonderful first episode. Thank you for joining me, Dr. Kate, on the From Burnout to Recovery show, where you are starting your journey to burnout recovery. You are invited to join me on the front porch every second and fourth Friday of the month on transformationtalkradio.com to continue growing in resilience and integrating recovery into your daily life. If you would like to learn more or find out how to work with me, visit liftwellnessconsulting.com.